Good morning. Now it's in California, 11 o'clock on time. This is Dr. Eileen Han from the Academy of Acupuncture. It is my honor today to be able to introduce you and interview with Dr. Christian Saint-Pierre from Nova Scotia, Canada. And let me see if he's here. Let's find out. Dr. Christian 老师. Yeah, oh, look at that beautiful view. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. Wonderful.
Excellent.
Where are you?
I am in Nova Scotia. I'm just outside of the city. Beauty, you know, sort of just enjoying nature today.
You look very relaxed.
Oh, it's been a wonderful weekend. Yeah, love to get away from the city.
That is such a beautiful place. And sorry that we have a dog here that is barking. Welcome you too.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on to this interview. It is my honor to be able to have you here with your busy schedule. And Dr. Harmon says, 老师 Harmon also say you're looking good.
Oh, well, hello, Harmon. It's a pleasure to be here too. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak with you today.
Yeah, absolutely. I have all this question for you, but let me introduce you to all the people who's listening to our interview. Christian Saint-Pierre, licensed acupuncturist, is owner and the chief acupuncturist at the Access Acupuncture in Nova Scotia, Canada, and developer of the Dr. Tan style of I Ching and Bazi balance method acupuncture. With, of course, Dr. Lao Shi Harmon's assistant with understanding of the I Ching. While studying acupuncture, Bazi, Feng Shui, and Qigong with the late master, Dr. Richard Tefu Tan. And Christian began to develop and integrating classical and cutting-edge concept into his practice, including the Kono acupuncture and the Shen therapy. He has continued his deep interest and the development of this area, offer a truly holistic and well-rounded treatment approach to his patients. And Christian also received his certification from the Academy of Classical Oriental Science School in Nova Scotia, British Columbia. He also certified with the Academy of Acupuncture executive level, the highest level for the recognition from the Academy of Acupuncture for the balance method acupuncture practitioner. And he also are in charge for the Academy of Acupuncture in the French division for the teaching of the core foundation classes and global balance method. Also, he's in charge of our 八字 3 essential division for teaching us how to be able to write on your wave of your energy and your chrono analysis. So let's welcome Christian Saint-Pierre. Yay! So excited.
Yeah. Gosh, when you lay it out like that, how do I get anything done?
That's you. Awesome.
Well, thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, everything that you just introduced is it's pretty much what I do in clinic. One small thing, I went to school in Nelson, British Columbia. The Academy of Classical Oriental Sciences was in Nelson, British Columbia. But you know, that's apart from that, a shout out to them. But yeah, we've been doing exclusively balanced method in clinic for the past, oh gosh, it must be the past 10 years now at least. And just, you know, continuing to add layer upon layer of detail and of sort of holistic approach, right? Doing local balance, global balance, 5-element balance, I Ching balance, Bazi balance, Feng Shui, right? Qigong, putting it all together as best we can in the way that Shifu was really hoping we would. And yeah, we're really happy to be able to do that.
Great. Let me ask you this question. How did you find out Dr. Richard Tefutan? And why were you so fascinating that you want to learn Dr. Tan's balance method?
Oh my gosh. So time I was treating I was sort of treating patients. I was doing a lot of house calls, and I was doing TCM. My wife Julie was in TCM school at the time, and we had started dating. And one of the things that we would do is we would go out to have these sort of potluck acupuncture weekends where we'd invite friends and family, and they'd all come, and they'd do, you know, by donation, and everybody would get a treatment. And we'd all be doing TCM, right? And they liked it. I mean, they were very, you know, very happy. And but same thing with TCM. Most of the time, it was like, oh, you know, I feel so relaxed. Thank you. Like, oh, how's your shoulder? It still hurts, right? But I feel so relaxed, you know. And that was sort of the way that we were working. She was still in school at the time. And I remember one day she came back with this little booklet called Acupuncture 123. And she says, hey, you know, somebody passed this to me, right? I thought you might find it interesting. And some background is that prior to even knowing who Dr. Tan was, I was on the hunt for what I understood to be true acupuncture. When I was in school, the dean of my school and all my teachers, I mean, they taught TCM according to the requirements of the board exams, but they were very kind in letting us know right up front that TCM was not authentic acupuncture. And so me being me, I decided, well, I want to learn what authentic acupuncture actually is. And so through my research, I got involved looking at, you know, chronoacupuncture and a bunch of other things. And I came across a book by this French guy named Georges Soulier de Morin. And he had this amazing sort of outlook. I mean, one of the things that he had done is he had written about acupuncture before the Communist Revolution. So this was before TCM even started. And so it was much closer to the authentic method. And one of the things that he talked about was that there were these sort of different levels of skill that you could have as an acupuncturist. And at the lowest level, it was basically what he called primitive acupuncture or local acupuncture or dry needling, whatever you want to call it today. And it was basically, you have pain here, you stick a needle there, right? And yeah, it has an effect. There's no question that it has an effect, but sometimes the effect is not what you want. Sometimes it gets worse, or sometimes you know, it gets a little bit better, but then it comes right back, and you're never actually getting anywhere. It's very temporary. He said the next level up was essentially point prescription acupuncture, right? Somebody comes in and they say, I have a headache. They say, oh, you have a headache, okay? And you get out your book and you flip to the part on headaches, and you know, you see all of the points on headaches, and you just boom, 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 right? Do the prescription, right, for headaches. Yeah, it sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't. And we as balance method practitioners know why it sometimes works and sometimes doesn't.
Yes.
Next level up was meridian acupuncture. And so that's maybe somebody had a headache and you diagnose it on the gallbladder meridian. And so what you do is, rather than needling locally though, you needle on the gallbladder meridian, but distally, somewhere else on the gallbladder meridian. And that was a much better approach. The effects were very quick. The effects were often much deeper, and that was already much better an approach. And then finally, the highest level of acupuncture that he described, or true acupuncture, was he called it Yin Yang Acupuncture. And so there, you use the yin meridians to treat the yang meridians. You use the left side to treat the right side, the top to treat the bottom to treat the top, the front to treat the back, and vice versa, the outside to treat the inside. And I'm reading this and I'm like, yes, this is how acupuncture is supposed to work.
Yeah.
How do I do this? Because unfortunately, Georges Soulier de Morin did not explain how to do it. He just said what it was, and then you left you to your own devices. So when Julie comes home with little Acupuncture 1, 2, 3 book by this guy who I've never heard of named Dr. Tan, and I just sort of flipped it open and I started reading it, and just I finished the book in half an hour. I mean, it was just so impressed. I mean, this was the method. And so when Julie came back from school that day, I mean, I was literally bouncing off the walls, and I'm like, you have no idea what you just gave me. And I think I want more of his books. And she said, I'll do you one better. I heard he's going to be in Toronto. And so we booked a flight. Actually, no, we did a road trip. We booked a hotel, we registered, we went to our first seminar with Dr. Tan, and we never looked back. I think we followed him around from seminar to seminar for almost 2 years, just like every single seminar that he was offering. And so we completed the acupuncture portion of Dr. Tan's curriculum. And then, I mean, I was so impressed with what we were doing with it, because once we came back from Acupuncture 1, 2, 3, we went back to our little potluck, right? Our family potluck. And without telling any of the patients, any of our friends what we were doing, we started using balance method. And so we would, they would come in, we'd have supper, and, we'd party a little bit, and then it'd be time for treatment. So we would give them their acupuncture treatments, but we would do it according to Acupuncture 1, 2, 3. And every single time, it doesn't matter if it was back pain, shoulder pain, nasal congestion, headache, tummy trouble, every single time, everybody said the same thing. Man, I don't know what you did, but my shoulder feels amazing. Or I don't know what you did, but my back hasn't felt this good in years. My headache is gone. My nose is unblocked. My tummy is great. And since then, we never looked back, right? We just said that's it, right? And that's why we love doing it. So yeah, I continued on. I mean, obviously, when you have something that effective and that quick and that precious, I mean, you want to drink as much of that in as possible. So I mean, I've started following Dr. Tan for his Bazi classes. I did his Feng Shui class. I did his Qigong class as much as I could. And I'm very, very grateful for everything that he has been able to teach me. And I'm incredibly grateful that he has left behind such an incredible, experienced and knowledgeable disciple such as you, because I get to pick your brain as well.
Thank you. I remember I saw you and Julie at Toronto. That was the first time Dr. Tan went to Toronto, or I don't think it's Toronto. Yes, Toronto, on top of the hotel. We have the seminar there. We have like full house. And I saw you guys there. And I also saw the demonstration that Dr. Tan demonstrated on Julie about the knee pain.
For her, actually, it was rib pain. So she had a little bit of, and there's a YouTube video out there if you can look for it. You know what? I think it's available on. The Dr. Tan Balance Method group somewhere. If you do a search for it, I'll look for it and we'll post it somewhere on the Academy of Acupuncture. But it's a great one because she has rib pain, and Dr. Tan does a pericardium on the opposite side, and gone. So cool.
Yeah, I was there too. I think I was in the video too. I was like, oh, I was there. I was so excited to meet you guys there. Yes, that was really fun. And I also want to do a little commercial here. Christian is going to teach in August 27 to 29, Module 1, as we are going to do live streaming only because of the pandemic. And therefore, if you're interested, if you're interested to taking this class, please go online and take a look at the link. It's going to be in French. If you are French speaking audience here and practitioner, please join us And it will be great time for people from Europe because Nova Scotia is 4 hours ahead of San Diego, I believe. So that would be perfectly fitting to their schedule. And about in the afternoon, the class will start at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon in Europe, and then it will be finished at 11 to 12 p.m. at night. So it will be perfect time for you to have a quiet afternoon. You can still see your patient in the morning. So yes, please check it out. And Dr. Christian Saint-Pierre is going to teach that. And then we also have the Bots seminar is also available for you to get to know more about the 3 essentials, the chrono analysis. And because of using those basic foundation information from the 3 essential, y'all be able to do personalized, custom-made Bazi acupuncture seminar, acupuncture balance method. So that is Dr. Christian Saint-Pierre is developing right now, and is really powerful. If you have those patients that you do have issues not to be able to treat it because of constitutional problems and something like this, more depth, and then you will be totally needed this class to help you to understand how can you help your patients. So that's my commercial. Thank you so much. And I like to take this little short time for you to give us some of your memorable case study that you remembers. And I love you tell stories. I love all the story behind it. So tell us all about it, about this memorable case study. Thank you.
Sure. Oh my gosh. You know, for me, I think my favorite cases, I mean, it's hard to pick one, but my favorite cases are always the ones where people who come in with not just pain, but limited movement. Okay, I can only lift my arm this high, and I've only been able to do that for, it's been like 5 years since I've been able to do that, right? I had my shoulder surgery, and now all I can do is this. Or my knee pain, or I can barely bend over with my back, or I can barely bend with my knees, or I can barely turn my neck. And then you just do simple, right? Acupuncture 1, 2, 3, right? Boom, yes. Needle or 2 needles. All right, move your arm. Oh my gosh, I can move my arm again, or I can move my neck, I can bend my knees. I mean, you have people, almost running up and down the hallways because they're doing stuff that they haven't been able to do in years. And that every single one of those cases are absolutely the ones that really sit, in my heart. But I think the most memorable case that I have is one where I got to do everything that Dr. Tan taught me. And it was amazing because there were so many layers to what was going on. So a woman came in, she was in her late 30s at the time, and she came in and she had a minor car accident, not a big one, just a minor one, a few years ago, and had become completely stiff up top in her shoulders. She couldn't even do this. She couldn't do this. Moved like a robot like this the whole time that I saw her, that she came in that first day. And so it was tension and pain in the shoulders and the neck. And so, I said, okay, well, let's work on this. And so I just decided, well, we will just use a couple of points, do acupuncture 1, 2, 3, points in the ankles, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, shoulders loosened, arms up, completely loose. She was in tears. I mean, she hadn't had that in a year. It was wonderful. I said, okay, right? It was a Friday. So I said, okay, you come back on a Monday. She comes back on a Monday like this again. Right? And I was like, oh, that's odd, right? So, repeat 1, 2, 3, right? Same protocol until she was completely loose and completely no problem, no pain, no restriction. Said, come back on Wednesday, right? 3 times a week, I said. And she comes back on Wednesday like this again. Oh. Right? And I said, okay, what's going on here? There's something else going on. And after a little bit of talking with her and sort of understanding, very, 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 very anxious woman, extremely anxious. And so the stress and anxiety in her life was tensing her up again. It was undoing everything that we were doing. And so we started doing global balance for her, right? For anxiety and jitteriness, right? And tension. And sure enough, right? We were able to go for almost an entire week, right? Without her being, right? Without her being tight. But then the weekend came around and she'd come back on a Monday or a Tuesday like this again, right? And this kept on for a little bit. So when Dr. Tan always said that when that is happening, you have to look at the environment, right? There's something going on which is always bringing this back.
Yeah.
So I did a Bazi on her, right, for starters. And we found out that there were a couple of elements that were out of balance. And so we started doing a 5-element balance with her. And that was it helped her a lot in terms of her feeling able to actually even make it to the treatments more frequently. And after a little bit more talking, a little bit more analysis, I found out that there was some issues with the husband and these kinds of things. And one of the cool things about Bazi balance is that you can treat relationships. And so I started treating her with the aim of actually improving the relationship between her and her husband. And that's actually happened. It started happening. She said, like, it was a situation where they were basically roommates and were not actually husband and wife anymore. And she came back one day and wow, she said, this weekend was, for the first time in I don't remember when, right? My husband and I actually went out on a date, right? And so she was super happy about that. And things were going, her spirits were improving, her energy levels were improving. Every time she came in, we were able to let all this go, but it always came back again. So what was going on? So I said, there must be something at home, something in your environment, right? And so I said, I'd like to come and visit. I'd like to come and see what's going on. So I went and actually visited her home, and there were some interesting feng shui issues going on. So
okay.
She had all of the mirrors in her house, except the ones in her bathroom. She had a bunch of mirrors, and they were all sort of like imagine this as being the floor, and they were all just sort of propped up against the wall like this. Okay. And have you ever been to a shoe store and they have mirrors for your shoes, and you go to, and they're on an angle, and so you go to look at the shoe, but you feel like you're falling because the mirror is on a weird angle. So everywhere you went in the house, you kind of almost, you couldn't escape that sort of experience. So I said, okay, first thing you got to do is you got to either hang the mirrors up or flip them around. And the other thing was that when we walked into her house, the very first thing, so there was her front door, and then there was a little alcove, and right after the front door was a door to the basement, where the door opened up over the stairs. Okay. And so you walk in, and your first feeling is, oh, I better not fall down the stairs, because that door doesn't seem very secure, very safe. And so we toured around a little bit, and she said, yeah, this door is, got to be careful around it. And we went downstairs, and downstairs was so chock full of stuff. I mean, it was just to the rafters of junk. I said, what's going on here? She says, oh, we're meaning to clean it out, but with the door the way it is, it's so hard to get things out of the basement. So I said, okay, flip the door, right? Make sure that it's opening away from the stairs.
Right.
And so she did, right? To her credit, she's like, okay. And her husband and her, they flipped the door, they hid the mirrors or put them up. And right away, you could feel just so much more relaxed. First of all, you didn't feel unsteady, like walking past the mirrors. And the second thing is, every time you walked in and out of the house, you didn't have this feeling of, ooh, I better watch out that I don't fall down the stairs. And so with that, she came back into clinic, and we did the same, right? Very simple treatments, and the tension left, and it stayed gone, right? And the treatment with her for her improved, I remember one of the last times I saw her in clinic, she said, "You wouldn't believe it. My husband has finally started emptying the basement, right? He's not bringing stuff in anymore because it's hard to bring stuff in, but it's super easy to bring stuff out now." And so the basement was getting uncluttered, and they had all of this space where they were able to actually have a family room, and they were spending more time there. And before I left for Nova Scotia, because this was a patient that I had in Ontario, before I left for Nova Scotia, she was doing so well. She had started strength training, she had started mobility training, she had started a job. Her anxiety was at the lowest it had ever been. Her house it felt like such a better space. And every single step of that, right, was Dr. Tan, Dr. Tan, Dr. Tan, Dr. Tan, right? Start with the simple stuff, and just, once you get into a deeper level, you just start using some of that deeper material, and then you figure out you need to use something a little bit deeper, and so you use that. And I mean, it's amazing what this stuff can do.
Wow, I love that story, that treatment. How much you charge for Feng Shui their house? My goodness, at least $350, right?
I was somewhere in it was a reasonable rate, but it wasn't for free, that's for sure.
And I also, if you want to listen to more of Christian's stories about how to treat patients, and he has a great YouTube channel, and he has that perfect what's the name of your?
Poked in the movies.
Oh, poked it in the movies. All right. I'm going to put the link on this Facebook group so you'll be able to take a look. Christian, a great storyteller, wonderful acupuncturist. I'm going to put the link on after we finish here. Then you're going to watch his Golden Needle movies. That's an amazing one. I would just totally, every time Christian visits San Diego, I will keep him up all night, just listen to the story that he tells us about his patients, what he's doing with the bazi and with all the I Ching. Now he can just throw the coins and tell me where's my book, where's my watches, and where's, everything. So anything I lost, I couldn't find it, I call Christian. So, and this is a great source that you can please hook up with this gentleman, and it will be really helpful for your life. My life really needs him to help because he has the metal, okay, and the wood to strengthen me in the right directions. So I already posted YouTube on it, and the link. Please continue, follow us. And Christian, would you like to say goodbye to everybody? Thank you for all your story, and time is up. And
thank you. And thank you, Eileen. It was a pleasure. I've always loved speaking with you. And happy birthday, I believe, is in order.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Eileen. Right? And I wish you this coming year. And I really look forward to having another wonderful seminar with you in the near future.
Yeah, so we have Bazi 3 coming up, not too soon in July. We're in July. Oh my God. October. And then your class will be in August, July the 31st, and end of August. So anyone, check on the training schedule. And thank you, Christian, for spending your precious time with us. And we're going to play the YouTube video a little bit here so you guys can find out and get the link. Go get to know Christian. All right. That's a great teacher here. I'm so happy that I have you around. Thank you, Christian. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.